But I should live and wait till Bitcoin rises again.
A wise man said that we should reach 100K this month.
Really?
No,
So why are you lying to me then?
I don't know. Oh, I remembered now.
Huh?
And it's gone.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an alright day today, but if you are a bit shook, it is totally understandable. We are having a super bloody day in the market. Bitcoin down almost 10%. Ethereum wiping away all of the gains after hitting a new all-time high yesterday. And we can see that the market has actually put in a lower low on the daily. Now, this is the first time that Bitcoin has done this in months, and the biggest question right now is, are we officially changing the market structure? You can see right here on the weekly, we've actually fallen below that psychological $1 trillion market cap, and we are sitting below the $50,500 level. So in today's bloody episode of CryptoZombie, I want to go over whether or not we should actually be worried. How bad was this drop? And I want to discuss whether or not the top is in, and I want to realistically discuss some key levels that we need to look at and whether or not we should be flipping to the bearish side, at least minimally, just for the short term. So that is what we're going to go over today. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. We're also going to talk about, why this is happening. And I do want to show you some very, very key levels to keep your eyes on, especially if you're holding Bitcoin and altcoins. So without further ado, if you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. And we're going to hop into the charts right here. So I already explained to you that we have broken this level right here, which means that the Bitcoin market cap is in fact below $1 trillion. That was a psychological level. We have fallen below it. Bitcoin got a low of around $47,500. Was that it, or do we have more of a pullback to go? Well, having a look right here, you can see, I wanted to just point out a very, very interesting level before we go into all the different technicals and the levels that I'm looking at. This one stood out to me, and this was this giant green candle that we had on February 8th, right here. You could see actually from open to close, Bitcoin had a 20% pump in one day. Now, this was a very, very interesting day. This showed a lot of buying pressure, and this is when the bulls were really getting excited to break past the previous high of 42K. So I do think that we could see Bitcoin potentially get bought back up here at around this $46,520 level. I don't see us falling any lower than this box. And as you can see right here, we have actually already had a little bit of support on this previous resistance. You can see this resistance right here. When we peaked at our $62,000 level the first time, we had a little bit of a bounce. We had a direct touch, literally touched the line exactly. We wicked below it, and now we're currently sitting at it right now. And the other interesting thing that I want to point out is we have been supported by the legacy trend. You can see back here, Bitcoin was actually bouncing between this resistance and support. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. We had a little bit of a bounce. We broke out of it. That acted as support. It acted as support again. And then once we breached the top level, we went to the bottom level, which acted as support again. And once we broke up, we had the top as support yet another time. So this right here is a very significant trend that I've been keeping my eyes on. And as you can see, if we actually extend these yellow lines out here, it looks like Bitcoin exactly respected the top of that line and also respected the accumulation period right here of the $47,000 level, which is telling me that we are probably going to see some kind of a relief bounce. But before we get our hopes up, is this going to be, this V-shaped recovery? Are we going to go straight to 100K, or are we in for potentially more consolidation? Well, oftentimes what can happen with these types of patterns is we do have one more potential fake out and then some sideways boring action. In fact, back here, you can see we did have this dump, right? We came from 41 all the way down here to 31. Then we pumped back up to 40. And then we fell all the way down to 28. Now, that was a big shakeout. Lots of people were like, it's a double top. It's over. That's the top of the markets. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something where Bitcoin, comes all the way back up, maybe to like the 62K level, only to dump all the way back down to 47, 46, 45, or even down to 43. And that would definitely shake a lot of people out of the market. And this move would take probably about a month or so to play out. So it could once again become boring. We could have that exuberance and then the pullback. But the thing to keep in mind is on the macro, you would still be putting in a higher low. And that's all I'm worried about right now. It's important to zoom out and it's important to understand that these types of pullbacks have happened before. I was going to make a chart, but Bitcoin Archive did it. So I'm just going to use his chart. Thank you very much. You can see right here during the previous bull market of 2017. And most of you already know this, but some of you are new. We had multiple pullbacks between 30% and 40%, 38, 38, 33, 38, 36, 29. Some exchanges got up as high as 44%. But the key to take away is that after each one of these dumps, we had a massive spring back period, 138%, 106, 211, 168, 117, 237 before having that top. And I know the question that you're asking is, well, if we're falling out of the structure, how do you know? How do you know that this isn't the top? How do you know that this time it could be different? Well, let's do a little bit of a measured move here, right? So obviously, one of the biggest levels on this chart that we have to look at is when Bitcoin hit this $42,000 level. And then we did have that correction, right? And that correction after that from top to bottom, if I just do a measured move right here, which I can't find my tool for some reason, is from top to bottom, that was about a 32% pullback, which is right in that region of the 33% pullbacks that we look at, right? So hypothetically speaking, from top to bottom, if Bitcoin was to go from the $65,000 level and we were to have that 33% pullback, that would bring us to about $43,000. And that would also bring us exactly to the top of this level, retesting once again the previous resistance as support. So is it possible that we could have another shakeout, fake out down to 43,000? Yes, we could. But keep in mind, the structure would still be intact. And as long as on the macro, we're putting in higher lows, that's all that I care about. Now, Josh Rager, he says, just nuke it. Bitcoin to 45,000 already so we can have a quick wick V bottom so we can get this over with. Well, okay, that would be great, right? To have that quick wick down. And then that would be one way to end it. But another scenario is we could see that slow bleed down to those levels. So why am I so convinced that we are still in a bull market? And what levels am I looking at? Well, just going off of the historical levels that we have right here, you can see the 21 exponential or the 21 EMA has been the moving average that often gets those bounces. Now, obviously, when we're doing the short-term trades, you guys know if you watch this channel, the 21 exponential on the daily is a great opportunity to put in those short-term longs, right? If you are looking to trade in a bull market and you think that the price is going to go higher, excellent opportunities for longs, but we've now broken that structure. So now it's time to zoom out and look at the macro picture. So that's why I'm looking at the weekly. And you can see right back here, we had multiple bounces during this 2017 bull run right here, actually starting back even as early as 2015, if you really want to go back that far. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bounces. And then you can see once we fell below it, and then look what happened. It acted as resistance, right? But we haven't seen that yet. Now, the one thing that is a little bit bothersome, though, is that we have been well above this for over, this is the weekly chart, so about 30 to 35 weeks. I don't have the exact measurement here. We have not seen the retest. Now, see, we had a test down here. We had a test down here, and we have not had the test yet up here. So having a look at this moving average, you could see that is sitting at around $44,000. And I previously showed you we had that resistance flip support at around 43. So everything is sort of pointing, to this 43,000, 44,000 Bitcoin level. Now, there's a lot of other analysts that are probably looking at this exact chart right now. So there is a chance that it might get front run. We may not actually go down to these levels, but these are the healthy levels for pullbacks. These are the healthy levels for retracements. And this is something that is absolutely 100% necessary in an uptrend. You have to have those consolidations. You have to have those pullbacks. If you don't, the market is not healthy, and that is when you literally see those 50, 60, 70% crashes, right? So you don't want to have those parabolic curves, and as we've already measured, the move from here to about 44 is about 33%, which is what we would expect typically in a Bitcoin pullback, right? Now you can see right here, the last few times, now this is back in March 2017, July of 2017, and September of 2017, each time that we actually fell to and touched the 21 exponential or fell below it, you can see we had a 240% increase, a 178% increase, and obviously the final blow off top was 583% increase. Now, we saw over I think it was 13 plus corrections, of 20% or higher. Now, if we actually go back to our chart today, let me actually get rid of all this stuff right here. And we actually just look at the pullbacks that we've had and we do these measured moves. So the first dump that we had was 31%. The second that we had was 26%. The third that we had was about 18, 19%. And currently, from top to bottom, what we've had so far is about a 26%. So there is one common theme, and I think that's that we are not going to get as big of these dumps as we saw in 2017. Even though, yes, crypto and Bitcoin is still a very illiquid market, there are a lot of bigger players in today. We have Tesla, MicroStrategy, financial institutions offering it, right? Not to mention the fact that retail can pretty much get it from anywhere, from Venmo, from PayPal. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is the biggest that it's ever been, right? So I don't think we're going to be seeing these like 45% corrections, but we might be seeing the 33% corrections as the biggest. So maybe this market, we only see 15 to like 33, maybe 40 is the max or something like that, right? So I do think we are going to see, as much as you could see diminishing returns in price, I think you're going to see diminishing crashes, and actually, this is a really crazy prediction, but I do believe that if we do actually get that support down here in this blue region and we do have that bounce, I think that this right here is going to be the absolute floor of the next bear market, which is crazy. So just to put it into perspective, I think that, let's say whatever you have today, if you've never bought any more Bitcoin or cryptocurrency after today, after we have this move, I think that this will be the worst case scenario come the bear market. So this is the poorest, essentially, you'll ever be, as long as you don't, trade and do whatever. So you understand what I'm trying to say? But after the move, obviously. So I think this will become the new floor, and I don't think we'll ever see Bitcoin fall below this level ever again. Doesn't mean that the next month couldn't be a little bit crazy, right? One more thing I want to point out, speaking about monthly charts, is that we actually put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive months of green. That was a lot of excitement, a lot of exuberance. That means everybody that bought here is all in profit and everybody's happy, and that usually is not how markets go. Usually not everybody can win, right? Somebody has to lose. Well, having a look right here, we didn't even have 6 consecutive months of green in 2017. In fact, the last time that we did have 6 months of green was back here between October and May of 2012 and 2013. And from the top of the wick to the bottom, Bitcoin saw about a 76% correction. Now, look, I'm not saying we're going to have a 76% correction. This was when Bitcoin was a lot more volatile. But what I am saying is I am perfectly 100% totally okay with having a red candle right here. We need to break this up. We can't just have green candle after green candle after green candle. It's just not realistic. I don't care if it's Bitcoin. I don't care about the money printing. It's just not reality, guys, okay? You need to have a red month. You need to have a cool off. So this is something that I'm happy to see. Now, everyone's looking for a reason. Why is it dumping? It must be related to the news, right? It has to be the news. Well, we know often show me the charts, I'll tell you the news, but we did have Turkish police detained 63 people as they continue to investigate an alleged exit scam, potentially affecting 391,000 crypto exchange users for roughly $2 billion. Now, okay, we've seen these types of exits before. We had the Quadriga CX scam. If you guys don't know, just Google Quadriga CX, and there was all this crazy stuff about the CEO, and he died, and he had the private keys, and they couldn't find the money. But at the end of the day, guys, not your keys, not your coins. This is why I never suggest putting your crypto on exchanges. I know people are going to do it anyway, but this is why, these things happen. These things happen. I don't think that this is enough to totally shake the markets. I mean, do you know how many exit scams and how many exchange scams and crashes and hacks have happened in the past 4 years since I've been in cryptocurrency? And Bitcoin has still managed to go from, $2,000 when I first bought my first Bitcoin in 2017 to $65,000. Obviously, I don't think that that's the case, okay? So what else could it be? Well, we do have the Dow having a pretty bad day. You can see right here, CNBC said stocks sharply drop to new session lows. Bloomberg reports President Biden will propose a capital gains tax as high as 43.4% for the wealthy. So some people were saying this had to do with it, right? There's this huge capital gains potential tax. Everybody's selling, panic selling, which is kind of hilarious to me. I mean, really, you would think that if the capital gains taxes are going to potentially go up, wouldn't that make you want to hold longer? Right? Like, I'm going to be like, well, if a double, now I got to pay half, screw it, I'll hold it for longer. So if I'm going to flip a house, I'll hold it for 5 years instead of 2 years, right? Or I'll hold my gold or Bitcoin or actually gold, I think, is a little different with the way that they do it, but capital gains, you know what I'm trying to say. So I don't really know how to take this news. I mean, look, markets are irrational. Does this have anything to do with it? I mean, it kind of sucks because at this point between federal and state capital gains, as a New York resident, I would be paying over, I think, 54%. Which is crazy. That's more than half. That's crazy. But keep in mind, it hasn't actually even been voted on yet. And it, even when they do, I highly doubt it's going to pass. I mean, I'm not really going to go into politics. I just don't think this is going to pass, okay? I just don't think they're going to go for it, especially the way that the Senate is set up right now. It's pretty much split right down the middle. So even if, 1% or just one of, let's say the Democrats votes against it, then I don't think this is going to pass. But like I said, I don't want to get into the politics. I just think this is just FUD. I don't think this is going to happen, but nevertheless, we have seen, Korea premium cool off. Now, people say the kimchi premium, that was basically calling the top of the market, but as Key Young Ju says, just be patient. He says, don't get me wrong, I see the pullback as a technical correction due to over-leveraged longs. Fundamentals are still strong now. After cooling off the market in the next few weeks, Bitcoin will go up. And that's the thing. A lot of people are probably expecting a V-shaped recovery, and we may not get it. We probably do need that cool-off period, but let's just zoom out and look at the big picture, okay? Bitcoin has continued to put in higher highs and higher lows on the macro. Bitcoin has had 4 parabolic moves on a logarithmic chart. There's virtually no other not even cryptocurrency, there's no asset on planet Earth that has ever been able to achieve something like that. And like the CEO of Pantera Capital, Dan Moorhead, said, he is basing the adoption of Bitcoin he's looking at the adoption of Bitcoin on a global scale. And he explained that the price of Bitcoin increases $200 with each additional 1 million users. So he says that this values Bitcoin at about $200,000 by 2022. And he actually uses this interesting chart right here where you can see the number of people using Bitcoin versus the Bitcoin price. And it does seem like if we do continue, on track to multiply at these levels, we are looking for a $200,000 Bitcoin. So look, I get it. If you're out there using super high leverage, which you shouldn't really use leverage any higher than 3x, not financial advice. If you're in a market that has 33% moves, using anything higher than 3 is risky, right? I've said this time and time again. But if you're holding and you're hodling Bitcoin, there's nothing you should be worrying about. And you should be looking at these dips as opportunities to buy in these types of markets. He says on the demand side, we've had massive companies like Morgan Stanley and PayPal enter the market. That shifts the demand curve much higher. At the same time, the supply of newly issued Bitcoin was cut in half last May as part of the every 4 years halving of Bitcoin issuance. In conclusion, his analysis pointed to a possible 700,000 terminal value of Bitcoin based on the $200 price increment per 1 million users and the rate of growth. And I did put in a bit of a warning. If you guys watched yesterday's video, I explained to you that Bitcoin is down here at a very, very critical level for Bitcoin dominance. And while everyone was screaming, altcoin season, I'm still skeptical. I'm not fully convinced that we're going into a full-on alt season, because the fact that Bitcoin usually tends to have very large bounces from this region before having the sell-off. And I did warn that there was so much exuberance. You know, Dogecoin was up 500%. You had all these shit coins that people were buying, that TikTokers were talking about. Every single, there was a guy on TikTok that made a coin called Scam Coin. He made it as a joke called Scam Coin, and it was up like millions of dollars in like the first 6 hours of listing. These are signs that the market needs to cool off. We need to wash out the weak hands. Lots of people who came in the market in the past months who think that they're just going to get rich overnight. We know that's not the case. We know that the hodlers are here to stay. If you're watching this video and you have diamond hands, well, you're fine, but we need to wash out these quick, flips, people that just want to make money overnight. That is not how markets work. That is not the reality of the situation. And I think what is happening right now is extremely healthy, but I am warning you that there could be a very crazy Bitcoin dominance bounce, maybe even just for the next month or so, and altcoins could get the blunt end of it. Now, on the flip side, if you do believe in the altcoins that you hold, you are probably going to get some amazing discounts to load up those bags for the inevitable alt season, which I do believe is going to happen, but I'm not convinced that it's going to be immediately right now. We could see a major bounce back of Bitcoin dominance back to maybe even the 63% level, whereas in that case, you would want to be hedging in Bitcoin and some of the higher altcoins like Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, things of that nature, okay? And, speaking of altcoins super quick, I just thought this was funny news. So, we've seen how, Tether has been trashed, for all the scams and pumping the markets and all these other things. Well, it looks like now Coinbase has decided that they're going to list Tether on Coinbase Pro. Now, they haven't announced it yet for their official app, but I just thought this was kind of funny, considering all the FUD around Tether, and now they're listing it. So, just thought that was kind of funny. They say, as the most liquid, stable, and trusted stablecoin, Tether is playing a key role in the emerging digital token ecosystem. So, there you go. If you can't beat them, join them, right? So, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I'm not 100% convinced that this move is over. I think we could have maybe one more little shakeout to the bottom. I am keeping my eyes on this 21 exponential. We have had a lot of bounces in the past, and I think that it will provide our support in the future. And also keep in mind that this is a lagging indicator. So if Bitcoin does continue to go sideways, we could even see it, potentially come up to meet us, maybe even a little bit higher, could be around the $45,000, $46,000 level. Keep your eyes on it. This is just a dip. If we fall below this, we'll have to start changing our tune. I'll let you guys know, maybe the bull market is over, okay? But let's not start thinking that way until we have confirmation. We don't have any confirmation yet. We haven't had any lower lows on the macro. So that being said, that is it for me today. I hope you guys found some value out of today's video. If you did, please smash the likes, drop a comment. It helps to let YouTube know that you're enjoying this video, and then more people can see the video. And that is it. So if you haven't got subscribed, check it out. Absolutely free Telegram group in the description. And remember, I will never ask you for any money. Anybody in the comments claiming to be CryptoZombie is a scammer. Make sure if it's a comment, it has the official check mark. I am a verified account. Anything else is just a scam. And that is it for me. Take care of yourself. Be safe out there. If you're scared right now, maybe you're a little over leveraged, maybe you have a little too much in the markets, but if you're a hodler and you know the long-term fundamentals for Bitcoin, then all you're being presented with is an opportunity to buy Bitcoin cheap before the inevitable blast off to the world reserve currency. So that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You are the reasons that I make these videos in the first place. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. And if you haven't checked out these videos popping up right here, right now, check them out. And until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.